Good morning, children. Today I am taking your chapter number 2. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. This is the second chapter of your Hornbill book, and I just explain it. Dear students, you must have experienced that as I teach in class, it cannot be supplemented or complemented as I am teaching here, making videos or online. In this case, you must not get disappointed as soon as we shall get together again physically present in the school classroom situation. In that case, I shall teach you in the same manner. Here are certain restrictions of timings, data, and resources where you may be lacking, and I'm also feeling the same, that I'm not getting that output which I used to give in the classrooms. So don't feel bad about it. Carry on your studies by reading books thoroughly, improving your English, improving your vocabulary, studies, and getting good marks. So I just come to the explanation part. It is class 11th English Hornbill book, and the chapter number 2, We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together, written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. And the chapter's name is, it is highlighted here. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. And in the beginning introduction, I just tell you that this chapter is written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. The story is about a 37 years old businessman who is the narrator of the story. He has a wife named Mary and 2 children, Jonathan, whose age is 6 years, and Suzanne, whose age is 7 years. He and his wife both dream of a voyage around the world on their ship. And the name of the ship is Wave Walker, which is a 23 meters long, 30-ton wooden hulled. Hulled means strong wood, heavy wood. Just like that of a famous Captain James Cook. I believe you must know about him. Captain James Cook. He took a journey or voyage around the world. And there is a movie also, there are some stories also. Around the world in 80 days is famous about the same. The whole family started sailing from Plymouth, England on July 1976. But after an initial trial of that boat was a wave walker. They tested in the sea water that if they would sail in the sea, what could be the probability of the problems they would face in their life, in their journey. In that case, they just tried it and tested its toughness. All the drills, you can say, drilling that people drill, they warm up for the exercise. Same they did. The initial phase of 3 years long journey was from Africa to Cape Town. So when they started sailing to the South Pole, it was all pleasant. The journey started from Africa to Cape Town. Cape Town is the southern tip of African continent. It was all right. It was so pleasant. While heading east, along with 2 newly hired crewmen, strong waves hit them and their survival became a question. When they took a trial of that boat, it was very normal. But in fact, The real situation came when they started their journey, and on the journey from Africa to Cape Town, it was all pleasant. But when they started journey turning towards east, they faced uh, a great survival problems. Strong waves started hitting them, which they did not experience when they were taking a trial of this wave walker boat. They did not experience the same. That way, the story tells us about how they fought each day and survived till the end. This is a story of courage, an experience of survival, life and death. So it was a tough journey for them. I move forward. Now the summary of this chapter. The narrator and his wife planned a voyage around the world just like famous Captain James Cook. They had been preparing and perfecting their seafaring skills for the past 16 years. So 16 years took for their skills to get practiced, to become expertise in going to voyage. 16 years is a big time. Now they get a ship which was 23 meters long and its weight was 30 tons. That ship was basically, it's a boat, heavy boat. They took the test of the boat for many months and they practiced for going on voyage for 16 years since they were young. After 16 years, they made the boat and the boat was tested in the seawater. So in July 1976, they all started their journey from Plymouth, England. They sailed from Africa to Cape Town, which was quite a pleasant journey. Before heading east, the narrator hired two crewmen, Larry Vigil and Herb Siegler. They offered help to them to tackle one of the roughest sea, the Southern Indian Ocean. Southern Indian Ocean is very rough. So they just were the helpers. Basically, they were engineers. They encountered strong and alarming waves during the second day. By December 25, they all managed to reach 35,000 kilometers away. So they crossed the journey of 35,000 kilometers till they reached towards the east side of the Cape Town, Africa. So as I told you that it was journey of courage. I think you must have shown the courage, and I will expect you to write a story of your courage, what you have done which is courageous in your life. I would ask you when we shall meet you, and let's see what you've done. So what happened after that, I'll just tell you. By December 25, in 1976, they all managed to reach 35 kilometers east of Cape Town. The family somehow managed to surpass the bad weather and celebrated Christmas together. The weather changed for the worse on January 2nd, 1977. So what could be the worst weather which they did not experience when they were practicing in the seawater nearby the island, near England? They practiced to sail in England, but when they reached Indian Ocean, They did not practice for the Indian Ocean, and the weather became really bad and tough. What happened? The weather changed for the worse on January 2nd. The big wave hit them. They tried to slow the ship down by dropping storm jib and hid a heavy mooring rope in a loop across a stern. But it didn't help much. They carried their life raft drill, attached lifelines, donned life jackets and oilskins. In fact, they had everything to save their lives. These all things, storm jib. Storm jib is basically a curtain kind of thing which is made of plastic sheet, polythene, or you can say polymer, which saved from the water, and heavy moor rope which can control them, which can be held by their hands to get stability, and life raft drill. By chance, the water which gets filled in the boat and they had to go out of the boat. They had small boats also, and they practiced for that drill, that they had to take those boats into the water and they had to sit in that, and they can be saved by running away from that boat, so that that boat, if it is drowned, they can save their lives. They had life jackets also. So it happened like that. They had oilskins also. Later in the evening, a vertical and huge wave striked. In the evening, there was a wave which was vertical. It was very high, about 500 meters high. 500 meters high, you can imagine. It was not very small wave. So it was very high wave, and it came over them. And the boat wave walker was down into the sea, and everything got upside down. So what happened? I read out for you that later in the evening, a vertical and huge wave struck the ship. The narrator was thrown off from the ship. He accepted his approaching death and started losing consciousness. The lesson is written in present tense, but I am speaking in past tense. When the ship was about to overturn, a huge wave hit again and turned it right back. When the boat turned upside down, and when they were about to come to the surface from the water, again a heavy wave came and it just covered everybody and the boat again. It was a second attack by the wave. So they suffered injuries, especially the narrator suffered rib injuries and mouth injuries. He grabbed the guard rail and sailed into the ship's main boom. You have to read this chapter and try to understand these technical terms. So you can understand what is rail. Rails are railings. Basically, you can understand this way. He instructed his wife Mary to guard the wheel as he realized that the ship had water in the lower parts. He told his wife that water has gone inside the ship, that boat, wave walker, deep into it. His crewmen started pumping out the water. They had pumps, everything they prepared. They started taking out the water with the help of pumps. These pumps were electrical pumps operated by the battery. The narrator went to his children's cabin and checked on them. His daughter Sue informed him about a bump on his head, which he ignored because his major concern was to save the ship. So basically, when he went down to the rooms of children, then he found that his daughter had injury, and she started telling, Papa, see, I just stuck and got bump in my head. But he ignored because his aim was to save everybody, save the ship as a whole, not just the daughter. So the narrator did the waterproofing on the gaping holes. There were some holes from them water was coming inside, and he started putting grease, oil, so that water should not come inside. So holes were minute. He was putting some blockage, oil blockage, that made water to deviate on the right side. Now water turned its direction. The hand pump got blocked due to debris. S is silent in this word, debris. See, I just highlight this word. Debris, see, I highlighted again, debris. It is not called debris, it is called debris. So debris means dher, mitti ka dher, yeah, that is called malba. Malba is the correct word. An electric pump got short circuited. Electric pump also got short circuit because of water. Pump stopped throwing out the water. However, he later found a spare electric pump and connected it to the drain water. Finally, he found some electrical pump which was operated, and he just took some water out of it with the help of this pump, that pump. They all kept pumping the water all night long. See the amount of water which was filled in the boat. It took whole night to pump out. That way it happened. Mayday calls were not answered as they were in the remotest corner of the boat. Mayday calls were not answered. Mayday calls means the calls on their walkie-talkies, you can say radios. They had transmitters also. They could not operate them because they were very out of reach. The connection broken. Mayday calls. Sue, the daughter, on the other hand, had now a swollen black eye, and a deep cut in her arm. Narrator's daughter got hurt, and she could not feel comfortable. On being asked by her father about her injuries, she told him she didn't want him to worry as he was trying to save them. When father looked at the daughter, and when he approached his daughter for comforting her, daughter refused because she said, no, father, it's not that much injury. Please take care of the boat. So she understood that what is important, what is priorities, what is the priority of the time. So it happened like that. After 15 hours, the situation got under control. The narrator decided to work in rotation and rested. The water levels were controlled, but the leaks were still there. Below the waterline, the ship was in bad shape then. It was not in condition to reach Australia, and so they decided to reach the nearest island, Isle Amsterdam. It is Isle, I-L-E, Isle Amsterdam, a French scientific base. That island, its name was Isle Amsterdam. Their official French island was there, and there were French research scientific research were carried out there and on that island. As their supporting engines were also damaged, the chances of the ship to reach the destination were very low. They could not reach the South Pole. So they just managed to reach that island. After pumping the water out continuously for 36 hours, they took a sigh of relief. Only a few centimeters of water was left to be pumped out of the boat. They hoisted the storm jib as the main mast was destroyed. Hoisted, फहराना. जिब मीन्स एक बहुत बड़ा पर्दा जिसकी सहायता से हवा के प्रेशर से बोट चलती है, उन्होंने उसको ऊपर कर दिया, टांग दिया, हॉइस्ट कर दिया, फहराया. Because my main mast means top with a flag, it was destroyed. They ate their first meal in 2 days, some corned beef and crackers. They had stored food which they started eating. The weather soon started changing and again the black clouds took over by the morning on January 5, 1977. His son Jonathan told him that he didn't fear death as long as they were all together. See the courage of the boy. Son told father, Father, if we are all together, we can fight each and everything. We don't have to worry. So this is called courage. This filled the narrator's chest with determination to fight the sea. The struggle continued and the narrator tried his best to protect the weakened starboard side. The same evening, the narrator and his wife sat together, holding hands, thinking that their end was near. See, they thought that they would die. His children continuously supported him, which gave him moral support to keep going. Children's courage supported parents. So this is the condition. The Waywalker sailed through the storm and made it. Now storm was crossed because of their brave hearts. The narrator then calculated their exact position by working on the wind speed. While he was brainstorming, Sue gave him a card that she had made expressing her love and gratitude towards the family. When they became normal, Sue made a card and gave it to parents that expressing her love and concern. He instructed Larry to steer the course to 185 degrees. He said that if they were lucky, they could hope to find an island by 5 p.m. in the evening. He dozed off, slept for some time, and suddenly got up around 6 p.m. in the evening. He believed that they didn't make it and was disappointed. He thought that by 5 p.m. they will reach somewhere, but he could not, because he woke up at 6 p.m. Even after 6 p.m. they did not reach anywhere. So they were disappointed. His son came and informed him about how they reached the Isle Amsterdam Island, and he called him best daddy, best captain. But just after 6 p.m. they saw some birds in the sky. When you read the chapter, you'll come to know about it. And suddenly his son saw one island and informed his papa and parents that yes, father, we have reached there. The island is very near. So they felt very happy. Even they got tired, dead tired, but still they felt very happy to reach at least to that island. They reached the island with little struggle and with the help of inhabitants. The whole team, the family and 2 crew members never stopped trying. Their struggle and hard work finally saved them. So this was the brief explanation of this chapter. Now it all depends on you. You have to read it thoroughly, understand all the difficult words, vocabulary, improve your English, do the question answers. Supporting document I'm sending to you. Please do the homework regularly. Watch my video so that your attendance can be made possible for us to note down. So dear children, work hard. Happy learning. Have a nice day.